Okay, so now we are live. So, hi everyone. This is Dr. Rohit Singh Malan. I'm an officer in the Group A Service of Indian Defence Estates from 2015 batch of Civil Services. I have a very good friend, a very good companion that is like long gone now. I think it's been about 4 5 months. So I just request him to introduce himself, and we'll be going forward with a very informal chat of what it's like सिविल सर्विसेज में आने से पहले क्या हम सोच के आते हैं आने के बाद क्या हमको मिलता है हाँ भाई so please go ahead introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Haris Rashid. I am from the Indian Administrative Service of batch 2018. And before coming into services, I did my MS in orthopedics from Dr. RML Hospital. And after completing my PG, I dropped 1 year and I gave this attempt and I got selected in IELTS.
Great. So I think it's prudent कि मैं हर किसी को बताऊं that we apparently did MBBS in the same year.
Yeah, I think 2000, we both are from 2007 batch of MBBS. I did it from Safdarjung and you were from UCMS.
I did from UCMS. हम दोनों दिल्ली में थे. हम दोनों एक ही साल में MBBS के अंदर गए, MBBS के बाहर निकले, कभी नहीं मिले दिल्ली में. And इतने सालों के बाद कितना भाई 2013 में हम दोनों का खत्म हो गया. 2019 6 साल के बाद हम जिंदगी में पहली बार मिले केरला में.
झांसी.
Oh yes, Jhansi. Yes, we met for half an hour in
Jhansi. एक दिन के लिए. Yes.
Right. So it's a small world. That's what I can say.
Small.
Yeah. So Haris, what was it like? अच्छा खासा MBBS किया, MS orthopedics किया. I'm sure you must have had a very good time doing that, and the kind of experiences you were accruing on the way. So क्या आया दिमाग में?
Like when people generally ask other people why did they come into civil services, they have many stories that they wanted to do something for the country. They were not happy with their job. That kind of thing was not there with me. I was doing a job which already covers helping people, social service sector, all that, and the income was also fine. I was working. I got SRship also in a government medical college, so all that was fine. But if you're active politically, if you keep reading news, you understand that as a doctor, you have a limited scope in improving the things that you are seeing are not. For example, something is not working in your hospital, something or the other is going wrong. And then you realize that at what level do you want to expand your footprint? Do you want to keep there complaining and saying that this thing is not working, or you can go one step up where you can actually make a difference? So that was the first thought that came into my mind. And secondly, RML is a hospital which is frequented by bureaucrats. So there, generally you will sit and you will start talking to some bureaucrats, some secretary, some assistant secretary. So invariably they'll just push you that obviously civil services is better in MBBS and all that. They don't use the word better as such. They say that if you really want to make a difference and you will have more bargaining power as a bureaucrat than as a doctor. So all these things, like over a period of time, it just accumulated, and I decided to give just one attempt. I was interested in civil service earlier before, but after my PG, I decided that एक attempt to banta hai, and I gave the attempt. And if I would not have been successful in that attempt, I would have gone back in my recent career. So it was just a career choice basically, because I wanted to do something more. I wanted that particular thing to tag. That's the only reason. It did not come as like a God sent message, no, you have to do this thing or that thing. Itna complicated nahi tha. Simple sa tha. And I again tell everyone that this is ultimately a job.
Right.
If you don't get into civil services, it's fine. It's not that you are not good enough. Many hardworking people, many people who actually know much more, they have not been able to get into civil services, because ultimately it's a long process. You have 3 stages of exam. In those 3 stages also you have the 9 exams and mains exam. You have so many boards of interview. So you don't know what thing may click for you, what may not click for you. Things click for me, things click much more for other people, things may click less for you. Like it may not click you for this year, it will click you for next year. So all those things keep in mind when you prepare for civil services.
Right. So to put things in perspective, it was like going for something better uh, compared to what you already had.
I will not use the word better. Something which had, the word is basically something had a larger effect. Basically, that's all.
So
I wouldn't
diverse
say
would
that.
be a better word for that.
I
Diverse.
what?
The diverse paradigm that the
Yeah,
civil services
yeah. The
offers.
diverse paradigm, the decision-making ability, basically. Like
Right.
as a doctor, most like you would have seen in UCMS, we'll be cribbing this thing is not there, that thing is not there, and you'll be
Right.
like it's stuck at that level, that level. So as a bureaucrat, you are sitting at that level. So if you are there and someone come like if a medical student comes to you and says "Okay, this thing is not done in my hospital," you cannot say okay the file is stuck at that level because you are that level.
Hmm.
So that was the initial touch, and this is what I believed before I come into services. Obviously, many things change when you come into services, when you see the world around, and you realize that it's not that simple as you thought it was before coming into services.
Right. There are a lot of push and pull factors. We'll come back
Yeah.
to that particular point in a while. Again, I would like you to throw some light on your maybe family background. What were your parents uh, like academic or maybe professional profile? Were they from a bureaucratic background or something like that?
Okay. My both my parents are Unani doctors, and my father was the first graduate in his family. My grandfather is basically a farmer,
Right.
and I have one sister, and she is currently pursuing her internship in Safdarjung Hospital.
Great.
So my family has a bias towards medical background since beginning. I've seen my parents working in a clinic, so that was the bent of mine.
Hmm.
So even in class 12, the natural choice was coming into medicine. Although I would, if given a choice, I really wanted to go into doing physics honors.
Oh, okay.
But then many factors are there. Your parents are there. Plus, it's not that you don't like this job and anything. And then I managed to qualify the exam also. So all those things they pushed me into becoming a doctor.
Right. And so, kaisa tha when you must have disclosed your aspirations to your parents, saying कि this is what I want to do. I want to take a leap of faith and try for civil services. उनका कैसा response?
It actually me doing ortho made a lot of difference, and it actually made the decision easier because it's easy for me. It was easy for me to fall back on something. If I would have done this thing, maybe without securing my career, probably I would have had little more, let's say, resistance from my family, or I would have also been. It would have been difficult for me to take a call because then you are in a different frame of mind. Then it becomes that you have to do it. So I think I was slightly lucky in this particular manner, and it actually made the journey slightly easier because whenever I saw people around me, they were quite stressed for their exam because this is what they can do and this is what they had to do. For me, it was slightly easy. I would do it. I want to do it. I would study because I am, but it did not reach that level of stress that my batchmates or the people who were preparing for with me they suffered. I was slightly lucky in that particular thing.
So there was no paranoia involved.
Not really. Seriously, I have heard my batchmates also, and I think I'm slightly lucky chap in that particular thing. So not much. It was only related to this particular exam. It never got something more than an exam. It was just an exam, and I think that was one of the reason why I could qualify. Treat this exam just as an exam. Don't treat it something bigger than your life, bigger than what you are, bigger than like this is the biggest achievement of your life. Because overdoing it also does not help in qualifying the exam. Keep it as an exam, treat it as an exam, solve it as an exam, and you will qualify it like an exam.
So what about the guidance? कहाँ से mentorship मिली? कहाँ से you got to know about what to study, how to study, and those aspects?
Okay, so like any Delhiite, I first day when I decided to prepare for this exam, I went to there is this Kumar bookstore in Karol Bagh. It's a very famous center in Delhi.
Mm.
After that, I came to know about Dr. Nitin Gaur. Dr. Nitin Gaur is 2015 batch IS officer, and he was in Chhattisgarh cadre. Now he's in UP cadre. So I had talked to him, I had a small chat with him, and then he said few things which stuck with me. The first thing that he said was that this is a government exam and you'll have to study the government material. Don't try to run after all this Chronicle and Pratyogya and all that. Number one. Number two, spend time in researching what you really want to study.
Right.
Like if you want to study economics, you have all kind of plethora of material in the market. You have all kind of coaching going on. Talk to more people who are currently giving the exam. Okay? And then only decide that these are the books that you need to study and this is what you will do, and that's it. Don't overdo yourself. After that, I went to Hamdard Study Circle. So they had conducted an exam and I managed to clear it. And there I met with a group of people. Now, I was lucky to be in that group because in that group, 4 people are presently in services out of 6. So out of 6, 5 people they gave interview and 4 of them are in service. One is Asim. Asim is West Bengal Cadre IPS. One is Imran. There are 2 Imrans. One Imran is IPS Bihar. One Imran is IRS Customs. And then we have what service is that? IT. Nadeem is in IRS IT service. So in with these people, like I would constantly ask them what is to be done. For example, I picked a book. Ramesh Singh I picked up. And they were like, if you're really into economics, read it. If you are from science background, you may not be able to grasp it in the time you have. So they constantly told me, okay, we have done this thing works, this thing does not work. And then one thing was very important is that during our tea time, we used to discuss generally, like laughingly, and we would discuss what's happening in the world. Like in 45 minutes, we'll laugh and we'll have a long chit chat and we will end up discussing the whole newspaper, at least the prominent part of it. Okay. It never came across as we are discussing something because we never intended to discuss. It just happened. Now that I look back, it turns out that yes, we were actually discussing. And during mains exam, we would take 1 hour. We would have 2 questions and 5 people will write the answers and all 5 will check each other's answer. So here I would especially like to mention that Asim's answer were one thing from which I learned a lot. Asim had given interview last year, 1 year before, and he had scored a good mark and he missed the mark, I think, by 5 or 6 marks. So those writing sessions, I think I could just have all his experience, all the mistakes that he has made, the way he presented, the way he tried, even if he did not know the answer, the way he would sidestep the main question, and like you cannot pinpoint that he has not provided the answer. He would do something about it in a very simple manner, using very simple words, simple quotes, not complicated at all. So I think that is what helped me in getting a grasp of how to write an answer, in spite of coming from a medical background.
Exactly. That is very important because it's very different. It's very different. The kind of approach you have towards writing your professional exams in MBBS and writing civil services means completely different.
Yes, yeah. I'll just like to mention one thing. We had, like all the people in Hamdard, we were given mains practice paper. And so they will give the result. A person will check, a person like at that, I can't recall his name. He qualified the exam in 2016. I can't recall his name. He's in Assam Meghalaya cadre. But the first exam, we got the question paper. Having the habit of professional exams, I wrote all the 20 questions. Obviously, you have to write. If you are asking 20, you write 20. If they're asking 25, you write 25. And the moment I step out of the exam hall, people ask me, "Doctor साहब कितने आंसर लिखे आपने?" मैंने कहा कितने आंसर लिखे? 20 सवाल थे 20 लिखे? कह रहे 20 लिख लिए आपने? हमने 12 लिखे। मैंने कहा 12 क्यों लिखे तुमने? तुमने अपने 8 क्वेश्चन जाने दिए. So many people had not even attempted to like write the whole questions, and these are the people who have already written mains exam. So that was, I think, it was very surprising for me. Okay, why would you let go? Like if you write something, obviously in UPSC there is no question in which you don't know anything. You may not know the central topic, but you will know something about it. How can you just let it go? Even if it fetches you half a mark, how can you just let it go? So that was one very surprising thing for me.
So what did you deduce out of it? I mean, क्या वो एक अच्छी स्ट्रैटेजी है कि जो आता है जिसको आपको लगता है कि भाई ये तो अच्छे से निपटा ही देंगे उसी पे फोकस करना है, या फिर वन शुड बी अ लिटिल मोर outward looking ki theek hai, I may not know the very centrality of this particular topic, but yes, I know back end and the front end.
I think that there is hardly any question which you don't know. Okay. Now I'll just add one thing over this. I think that will complete that block one, block two. The block two is that from the very first day I had a habit of reading the whole newspaper. Okay. I would rely on like Vision monthly material or Insight monthly material, but that worked only as a filler. That was never my primary source. Now, some people after coming to services, they say that reading a newspaper is actually a waste of time because you get facts from these monthly offices also. What I feel is that you should read newspaper, because reading newspaper gave me so much material that I don't even know, like for be it culture, be it international, be it any issue. And thirdly, it gave me a sense of introducing an answer, a sense of writing the body of the answer, and a sense of concluding the answer. So if you combine the mains question with everyday reading of newspaper, I think I missed hardly 1 or 2 days in the whole 365 days of my preparation. So that combined, I don't think there is any question which you, except for paper one, in which there is culture and all that you may not know. But considering paper two, paper three, paper four, even ethics, there is no question that you would completely be blank about. So I would suggest that you can, if obviously you can present it. Now you don't start writing, किस्से कहानियां कि वो वहाँ था, ऐसा नहीं. थोड़ा obviously थोड़ा sense होना चाहिए, थोड़ा orientation होगा, then only you can attempt. And if you have some sense of it, then don't leave it, attempt it.
Okay, point well taken. Moving on, आपने अपना strategy वगैरह बनाया, आपने preparation start किया. So how much time did it take you to transition from being a candidate to a competitive candidate?
Okay. Before I started this exam, I was not sure where I was going. I had no plan. So I did 4 books. I took. I did Lakshmikant to cover polity. I did GC Leong for geography, Sriram booklet for economics, a very thin booklet, and I did Spectrum. So these 4 different books, I tried to do them in 1 month. Okay, and then I did monthly. I think it was for 2 months, for August and September 2016. I did like these 6 books I did over a period of 1 month. So they gave me an orientation of what exactly is coming towards my way. And after that, this thing I mentioned in my exam, the mains exam, I managed to get rank 4 in 120 students there. And to be very honest, I did not know much, because it was like 2 months that I had started preparing only. I did not have any coaching background. I had not gone through all those thick books or market material. I managed to get this rank on the basis of my newspapers and NCERT only.
Right.
So that is where this thing came to my mind. I could not believe how did I manage to get this rank? How? Either the people who are there, they are not taking this exam seriously. That was also a thing. Or I don't know why I managed to do that, but it did give a sense of confidence. Okay, fine. And one of the reasons was that I did 20 questions. So that thing was cemented in my brain. Okay, this is also profs only. करने सारे हैं, छोड़ना नहीं है. हाँ, पर वहाँ से confidence मिल जाता था. But ये था कि constantly वो feedback होता था, क्या बोलते हैं, positive negative feedback, वो constantly चल रहा था. Like we were giving prelim exam also. In some exams I would score 100 out of 200. In some exams, even after reading, I would score 50 out of 200. So it was a constant up and down thing going on. But ये था कि जो टाइम टेबल शेड्यूल डिसाइड किया था, टाइम टेबल खाली जो टेस्ट सीरीज का वो होता था, ऐसे अलग से कोई वो नहीं था, वो और न्यूज़पेपर रीडिंग, ये 2 चीजें थी जो कांस्टेंट चल रही थी. एवरीथिंग वाज बिल्ट अराउंड इट.
ओके.
तो वो अप्स एंड डाउन चल रहे थे, लेकिन एक आपके पास अगर एक सेंट्रल पिलर होता है तो यू आर एबल टू फॉलो इट. तो एक किसी भी एग्जाम अच्छा ना करने से ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि बिल्कुल एकदम टूट गया. किसी भी एग्जाम बहुत अच्छा करने से ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि आज आसमान पे चढ़ गए. तो एक वो चीज था, उसने जमीन पे पैर रखे हमारे.
ओके, ठीक है. तो फाइनली इफ आई रिकलेक्ट करेक्टली, आपने 2017 में प्रिपेयर किया. You finished your MS Ortho in 2016.
August 2016.
Right. 16 से आपने प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट किया, 17th में एग्जाम सीजन स्टार्ट हुआ, आपने एग्जाम देना शुरू किया, and finally the results were out in 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, right. And what was your rank?
487.
Great. And on the basis of that, you landed up in IAS. So you started, what was the journey like? Just for our viewers, walk us through it. How was it? Uh, how did it start? I know it started with the training, but what was training like? What was the academy like? What was the life there like?
Okay, so I was initially expecting Indian Police Service, so I had started preparing for my exam again, and I gave 2018 pre-exam, and I managed to score 112 marks. When everyone was saying that the exam is very difficult, and the people who like my friends who have studied well and who worked hard, they scored 99, 98 marks. I had gone there brainlessly and like just reiterating how a calm mind helps you score more.
Right.
So I was not studied, so I was not banking on it much, but I still managed to score a very good score. And so I had started preparing for my mains 2018 exam. But on 20th April, the list came and I had got into IAS. Now IAS is there, so I decided to take it up. And after that, we landed up in academy on 27th of August. And then over a period of time, while preparing, you get a sense that academy is like a holy place, and it's like it's a dream come true if you get into there and all that thing. So first day was obviously it was slightly surprising. You couldn't believe that you've actually reached over there, and Mussoorie is Mussoorie then, and all your batchmates are there, and you have these the gates, the Labasna, what you have seen all the videos on YouTube. You are there. You have actually arrived over there. So that is there, and after that, it was okay. But after that, after 1 or 2 days, you understand that like it starts getting off your head slowly, and you start getting in the thick of things. And now, okay, you are there, and then your classes begin and all that, and then you realize that you have more exams coming. It's not the end of it. You don't have to give the academy exam, but here the credit goes to the academy. Academy keeps you busy 24/7. And the best part of the phase FC is that it gives a chance for everyone. Like everyone will at least once get a chance to be on stage. So all the 370 students, even if you don't want, if you just make one small attempt, there are enough chances for you. And academy is very receptive. All the people are very receptive. The curriculum is designed in a manner. The whole schedule is designed in a manner that every one of you gets a chance to open up, to explore, to be it sports, be it cultural arts, be it dancing, be it drama, whatever it is. So that thing helps you get comfortable, and it basically prepares you for your professional training.
Okay. And for those people who might be watching this, जो अभी academy के उस gate के पार नहीं हुए हैं, could you just tell them what was a typical day like?
Okay, so it's basically it has two parts to it. Okay, the first part is that it begins at 6 in the morning, and then during your FC time it's still better, but during the end months, during the late November and December, it starts to get very chilly, and like even before the sun rises, you'll have to run towards Happy Valley ground, and you'll be participating in a PT. Now it's up to you. It has been diversified. You have PT, you have running. I used to go for running. Some days I used to go for PT. So your day will start at 6:30. You will come back at around 7:30. Now, some people, they would sit, they'll have a cup of tea. Some people will go to gym. Some people will go back to sleep. So this is the morning. Mornings are generally very nice. And once out of academy, you start missing them. That is one thing, the first thing that you miss when you're out of academy. Now, from 9:30 to 4:30, you have your regular classes. Now, classes are not classes, but then they are with you sitting and you listening to lectures. Some lectures are very good. Some lectures, maybe some are interested, some are not interested. But mostly in the first 2 weeks, lectures are very good, and they will give you an insight as to what, like sometimes you don't even know what you've achieved, right? Like you've come into UPSC, you've got a name for yourself, and those lectures, they tend to just tell you that now you can do all these things. Now, like you may not be in a position, but if someone comes to you, your one phone call can change a lot of things for that person. So like you get to listen to stories and all that, and after that it becomes mundane. Now what actually people wait for is the life after the classes get over. So you're in Mussoorie, and Mussoorie is a beautiful place to be. Then many people, they would go for sports. You have a very nice gymnasium, you have a very nice sports complex. Then generally, not generally, the people who are posted over there, the senior officers, they are very welcoming. You can go to their home, you can have a chat with them, you can start making different plans. Like there were migrant children around, you can start planning, you can contribute for improving their school conditions, you can contribute to the migrant workers. So many issues related to Masuri, issues related to anything and everything that you have in mind. So it gives that fertile ground to your thought. So I think from 9:30 to 4:30 it's regular classes with everything, like you have lunch also and everything. But after 4:30 is your actual life starts. You have Ganga Puja Dhaba. Ultimately that is going to be your one stop, where you will be all the time, you will be there during your FC at least. So it gives you a fertile ground to think, to make friends. And generally, even if you talk to a person from 1990 batch, they also tell stories of their foundation course very fondly.
Okay.
So these are the kind of memories that you end up making in FC. And the friendship that you make in FC, they tend to go irrespective of your posting, irrespective of your service. The actual, the concept of esprit de corps, that is actually, you read about something, you hear about something, but once you're out of academy and you talk to your friends after like 1 year or 2 years, then you understand that yes, FC did what it was intended to do.
Mhm. So कितना duration होता है while you're there in the academy?
During it's 28th August to I think 6th December was our foundation course. So
Okay.
September, October, November, three and a half months, mainly 3 months.
Okay. And finally, you're done with the training, etc. They give you your first transfer order. So what was it like for you?
No, then we had phase one. So phase one was, it was again a repetition of that, albeit with the half number of people. So the fun and the frolic and everything of the academy goes, it slightly goes into serious mode now. And you know that what are the responsibilities that we'll be taking. And after that, Bharat Darshan, everyone knows. I think enough videos are there on YouTube. Bharat Darshan, everyone waits for, especially the army attachment. After that, once we get our posting, we move to our respective district. And like when now the cadre becomes very important, which cadre you are in, not of your service but your perception. Okay. Like before going to your cadre, if you are in your home cadre, your perceptions are different. In if you are in some other cadre, your perceptions are different. But once you move to cadre and you start looking at the WhatsApp group and the complaints, you realize this country ultimately is one because it has common problems.
Okay.
So all the issues that you face, it is being faced by everyone. So like you can crib about your whether you are in a good or a bad card, you can keep thinking about it, or you can start working on it. And after, like when I came to Kerala, I was told that it's this and that and all that. But now that I look back and I've been sharing my experiences with the other batchmates, I think Kannur was one of the best things that could have happened to me. Be it making friends, be it having a life, be it working, like the kind of, like every state has its own advantages.
Right.
The kind of COVID work that I could do in my probation in Kerala, I really doubt I would have got it. Like if I was posted in some other district, I don't think I would have been given a charge to handle an international airport independently. It's not possible. But I was given that charge here. So ultimately, you came into the service. You did not come into a cadre. And every single cadre will have different problems, some negative, some positive, because no state in India as of now is perfect. If you're in Delhi, you have other issues. If you're in Maharashtra, you have other issues. If you're in Kerala, other issues. Even in your home cadres, you have issues. Like the people in Telangana, they have not been posted. They were not relieved. So all kinds of issues will be there.
Right.
So now coming back to your question, what it feels like is that it depends how much do you want to work in your probation, number one. Number two, it depends how many people are there to guide you. So that becomes very important. How your collector sir is, how your SP sir is, how your CEO, Kannur Kant is. So if you are sensitive enough and if you really want to work, then you can start your work from day zero. The moment you land, you take rest, the next morning you take some time to explore, and then you will identify enough areas to sit, to work, to innovate. Everything is currently innovating, more issues are coming, new solutions are being found out. So district training is all about having your feet in the ground, looking for things what you can do and start implementing it.
Correct. So I think जो ये वीडियो देख रहे होंगे उनके हिसाब से सोचते हुए I think I should just let everybody know that your first assignment after training was as assistant collector in Kannur district.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So all the officers from the IAS cadre, they are posted as assistant collectors, and assistant collector is nothing but a shadow of the collector.
Correct.
So your powers and what you can do depends on how much your collector is giving you. But assistant collector is in itself a proper designation. So although in the academy parlance or in the service parlance we call it under trainee, but if you are assertive, if you are confident, you can do not all, but you can use most of the powers which the collector is exercising. You can actually become a mini collector in yourself. And if you're good, what I have seen till now is that the collectors, they also let you explore things, and they are always there to back you up if you make a mistake. So that 1 year of training is very important, because in this 1 year you don't have much responsibilities. You can work, you can explore, you can make some small mistakes, don't make big mistakes. And then in this particular period, you tend to liaise with a lot of people. Like I was the one person into which the commandant Kannur kind used to call, and Kannur Airport MD used to call. Then during COVID crisis, I was talking to the liaison officers of most of the North Indian states. So it gives you that freedom to, just to make contacts, just talk to so many people, just to understand how are you going, what kind of officer you are going to be when you come back as sub-collectors. Because once you are back as sub-collector, then you have more responsibilities. You cannot be as free, you cannot be as outspoken, you cannot be as exploring as you can be. So whoever is planning to write this exam, take it from me that this training period of 1 year is, you have to utilize it to the fullest.
Right. And this is something that I was intending to talk more about, but आपने जैसे discuss किया, and I'd just like to put things in perspective and tell the people who are watching this video that हर कोई जानता है कि केरला ने इनिशियली कोविड रिस्पॉन्स के मद्देनजर बहुत ही अच्छा परफॉर्म किया. उसमें कन्नौर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में ऑफिशियली अनऑफिशियली इन थिंग्स more things than one can imagine, Haris was given the initiative to manage the district, the response of the district towards COVID. And I'd like to tell you, Haris, that जब आप यहाँ से transfer out हुए, I was sitting in the collectorate talking to Asif, the sub-collector, and the collector sir was also there. They were actually missing you. आसिफ बोल रहा था कि यार हारिस चला गया, अब यहाँ पे कोई things are not that convenient when it comes to managing COVID-19. So I think that is something that speaks volumes of the kind of work you did. And yeah, you should know that people in the collectorate work. So, right, from work, let us just transit towards the social life. कैसा रहा आपका social life as an officer?
Social life, as I said, if you land up in Kerala and you're from Delhi, so it takes time for you to get started with your personal life. So I think in an outside world, social and personal life, they amalgamate into anything outside office. It's a combination of both of it. So for the first few weeks, I could not wrap my head around as to what is to be done in my after hours and all that. But I was lucky. My SP was Mr. Pratish Kumar. He is an IPS officer of 2011 batch, and he's from Lucknow. So he was the first person who called to me and talked to me in Hindi, and it was the beginning of, I think, a lifelong friendship now.
Right.
And then we had the person hosting this particular conversation, Dr. Rohit Manan, and these kind of relationships, they give you an anchor in a district. Okay, because your home is far away, you no matter, you are respected and you have that clout of an IAS officer, but ultimately you are a person, right? You need someone to talk to. And had it not been for these two, not just people now, families, it would have been very difficult for me to spend my 1 year. So my advice to people who are giving this exam: talk to your service mates, talk to the people who are there, especially the people who come from UPSC. because they are coming with the same mindset, more or less a similar background, the educational background and the mental background that you are coming from. And you can easily confide in them, you can talk to them, you can discuss issues with them, and make it a point that at least once a week you will sitting with them, you will be having dinner with them. And this very small intervention, it helped me. Like when I talked to my other batchmates in Kerala also, like we were asking, how was Kannur? I say Kannur was fantastic, and they're like, how come Kannur was fantastic? How? I was like, I don't know. Acha, would you like, this question was asked, if not Kannur, then what? I say nothing. No. I don't. If given a chance, if I would want to redo my probation, I wouldn't want to do it anywhere else but Kannur.
Right.
So I think that is important. That that networking is important.
I think मैं एक चीज ऐड करना चाहूँगा. The thing you said about talking to the fellow officers coming from UPSC Civil Services, one additional advantage is you identify with them.
Yeah.
Because हम सभी बाहर से आए हैं, हम सब अपना घर छोड़ के आए हैं, we are there to work and we are working. So after office hours, we do tend to confide with and identify with our fellow officers, and it's a very strong bond. And Pratish sir needs a special mention, definitely.
Special mention, absolutely.
उनके चलते जो है हम दोनों जिम में भी रेगुलर हुए लूज किया, हालांकि फिर वो खिला के जो है वो सब बराबर करते थे और खुद कभी नहीं खाते थे.
खुद कभी नहीं खाते थे.
Right. So all this while आप कनूर में हो, you're learning, you're exploring different things, you have talked about the social life, but we have a family back home. You had a family back home. So what was that like, working, being away from your family for such a long period of time? I'm imagining, I think life mein first time you over, be it your training or after coming over here.
Yeah.
Also after
So
coming. So kaisa tha?
I have stayed in hostel during my PG, so I was not at home. But that feeling that your home is like just 2 hours away, so that was always there. Even if I would not go home for I could not get time in my PG even for a month, but it never actually be like that I'm very far away from home, because home was, that you can always pick up your car and go. But this time it was slightly different, and it was different when in academy, and it's different when in Kerala. So that thing is there, but I think that it allows your parents to have a life for themselves also. I mean, which I now realize that they should have that mental space now. Like they are also nearing retirement age, and initially they were like, hey, you have gone so far, why don't you come back and join back orthopedics and all that. But over a period of time, they started having their own life. So I think it's not that difficult. Plus, now it may have been difficult like 15 years before, when you had to travel by train. Now, whenever there was a 3-day break or 4-day break, I could take, like, it was expensive on my pocket and it drained me out of my savings. But that option was always there, taking a flight to Delhi. So in totality, obviously it's different. It's like I would be fine if I were like 500, 600 kilometers away. 2000 is slightly too much, but then it's okay. What can we do?
Great.
Like staying in Jhansi and staying in Kannur.
Yes, precisely. Right. So yes, that was a very interesting session I had, chatting about your professional, personal accomplishments and experiences. So what do you see as an officer in the Indian Administrative Service? What does the career hold according to you in future? Just talk us through about the kind of diversity, maybe the career progression and the timelines for promotion. Just elaborate and share your perspective on that.
Okay, considering I'm in Kerala cadre, so the first thing is that you have to be sensitive what the state is doing. Okay, and me coming from medical background, now we see that in COVID and everywhere a lot of technology is being used. Now technology, now you need to understand where it can be used, where it cannot be used. It's not an answer for everything. That's number one. So you need to start learning with time. Like this is where you being a journalist really helps. You don't have to be an expert on it, but you cannot sit idle and you be like, I will call my IT person and I'll do that. No. So once in services, irrespective of your post, you have to keep a tab on what is actually going in the world. Number one. Number two, I was assistant collector till few months back. Now I'll come back as sub collector. After I'll I'll be posted as sub collector for 2 years. After that, I'll be posted in Trivandrum. So I don't have to fall in love with any post. That is number one. Yes, like I am not going to be sub collector for the rest of my life. I'm not going to be a collector for the rest of my life. So that mindset that you have to do your part, try to do something which is very frugal, very simple, yet implementable. That should be the primary thing. Don't try to do something which is very complicated, which you do, you be a successful also. But the moment you are transferred out, the next person comes and he changes. Because not because he doesn't support you, but because it's probably too complicated to be implemented in the long term. So these two things. And secondly, the best part of the service is that it gives you a lot of chance to, like, it does not bound you into one particular thing. Like you can all you after, like, it's the first 7 years that you have to stay in your cadre, and in those 7 years also you will be keep shifting your jobs. Like these 2 years of sub collector, the people who have been sub collector and who are now posted in Trivandrum, they really miss their time in field. So field posting is ultimately field posting, and no matter what you get in capital, but still in capital also you will be having different shoes. You maybe become a director, information technology, director sports, anything. So that thing is there, and then you wait to be the collector. And as a collector, you try to bring all the experience that you have earned as an assistant collector, as sub collector, as director into collectorship. And what you do as your collector, the kind of things that you do, the challenges that you are able to stand up to, I think that really stays with you for the rest of your life. So I think that is the, like, this is the first stage, and after that, then you went to go to capital. Then obviously it's a different life altogether, different kinds of job, different kinds of posting, different kinds of responsibilities. But right now, even I am looking till that time. I should not be cowed down. How to tackle issues, how to tackle opposing parties, how to tackle, there will be, like in Kerala, media is considered to be a necessary evil. Okay, but you have to be sensitive towards it. Okay, if they are pointing something out, you have to respect that, right? And you need to have a way where you can actually find a way in the confines of what they are going to tell you.
Right.
Me getting it, but it's not an opposing force. It's something which is trying to point a problem to you. So you don't have to see it that way. So that is what you have to learn overall this thing.
Right. Right. So I think I have all that I need. To finish it off, is there anything that you wish you did differently in any part of this particular journey of yours, from preparation up till now? Anything that you feel यार ये उस तरह से कर सकते थे, या ये और अच्छा उस तरह से कर सकते थे?
Not really. Initially, when I preparation, there are a lot of things to look back to. I could have chosen my optional subject differently. I could have, gone into coaching something, but I don't think that matters a lot. But the point is that spend some time in choosing your option. Medical science came as a natural choice for me, but in my year, it did not get a very nice mark. That year, anthropology skyrocketed. Now everyone is taking anthropology, so that may not be a very wise choice to, just blindly follow it. So spend some time, spend 2-3 days, talk to people who have already qualified the exam. Number one. Number two, if you're coming to a cadre which is not your home cadre, spend some time in language training. I took a lot of time in registering myself in language, but being Kannur and being people being able to talk in English, it was not that difficult. But obviously, having slightly more work in Malayalam, it would have helped me to connect with the tribal families with slightly more as compared to which I was able to do now. So these two things mainly.
Okay. And similarly, कुछ ऐसा था that you wish you had known before regarding any aspect?
Not really, to be very honest. I did not know I'll be going so far. That's number one. That is there.
Okay.
But it's ultimately it's just a job. It's just a cadre. If not here, I could have gone to Northeast. And far is far. So either you're in home cadre or you're not in your home cadre. So these things you learn over the time. So not much about it.
Okay. And lastly, anything that you'd like to advise on the people preparing for the exam?
Okay. It's a government exam. Focus on the government resources, number one. Don't try to go into the private books, and you can use them, but don't make them as the primary source material. And after that, this is just an exam, And no matter what service, be it IPS, be it IES, be it IDES, be it IRS, it's a service. It's just a service. It's not anything more than that. It's not anything less than that. So don't try to pin everything on this exam, because I've seen people giving this exam for many, like for 6 years, and then they become so dejected that they are not able to focus even on something which is their strong point. Like I've seen people from IITs, I've seen people from medical background, I've seen people who have done graduation only to clear this exam. So don't make this exam at the central part of your life. Give this exam, give 2-3 attempts with all diligence, but don't forget that you and your life is much, much, much bigger than this particular exam. There are many in service who leave service. Many people, they leave service after 5 years, after 6 years. Many take VRS. So it's not like you have achieved the pinnacle of life. Like you have just achieved everything. It's not that. So consider it as a job. Treat it as a job and treat it as an exam. That's it.
Great, great. Anything else from your side you wanted to touch upon? Maybe something that I have not covered in this particular session. ऐसा कुछ है that you would like to just share or advice or?
No. Regarding preparation, the only thing is that before you jump into preparation, before you talk to many people, don't try to follow anybody's approach. Like I said, read newspapers. That worked for me. That may work for a few other people, but it may not work for you. Okay. So don't try to copy everyone. Don't try to just look at toppers video and what they did. Talk to everyone, read everything, but try to formulate your own strategy. Try to formulate what works for you. Right. And what works for you is not going to be like, it cannot be work in a silos. Okay. You need to get like a friend of mine. He is very knowledgeable, but he's not able to translate that knowledge into answers. So in spite of his excellent knowledge, he's not able to clear mains. Like he's giving 2-3 attempts now. And I can bet very easily that he by far has, like he's intelligent, he has understanding everything from all the people who are already in service, like the 4 of us in our group. But he's not able to do that. The reason is that it took him a lot of time to start practicing with us. He did not practice with us initially. So that thing is very important. What you do, you need to put it on paper. You need to compare it with other people. Ultimately, it's a competition. It's not a one-man show.
Right. Right. I think we should wrap this up. Thanks a lot, Harish, for taking your time out. And I hope
thank you so much for
you're keeping safe and well with your family in Delhi. Delhi mein ho na abhi?
Ji.
Right. And something that we did not touch upon, I'd like to again congratulate you on your marriage.
Thank you so much.
Big event in life. And yeah, have a good life. Where is she, by the way? Abhi wo kahan pe? Where is your wife?
साथ में ही है अभी. She's there only.
Oh, great, yeah. Chalo, enjoy. Thank you so much for your time.
Chalo. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.